Warning. The following TTRPG stream is intended for mature audiences and may contain material that is not suitable for all viewers. Viewers who may be sensitive to graphic content should proceed to the video description below, where timestamps of such events are provided to the best of our ability. Viewer discretion is advised. Thank you. Hello, my fellow folk from the past, present, and future. Welcome to the 11th episode of Season of War, the first campaign of Lore Weavers TTRPG. No real announcements today, so we're just going to go ahead and get into our last series of chaotic introductions. So I'll kick us off here, introducing the man, the myth, the somewhat of a legend, Rez, who plays Gax, our resident monk kind of asshole. None of you should know this, but now you will. Gax, Rez, was a soccer player and has also done some drumming in the past, was in a band. Also, my favorite fact, he is also a lover of false hydras.
A little bit.
So keep a lookout, guys. But with that, I guess I'll pass it over to Tables.
Okay. Yeah, just skip over you, it's okay.
What the hell?
I believe I am introducing Callum. And what can I say about Callum? Except for, well, Callum or Speed. He is a great guy. And
Yeah.
I will think of something else to say and insert it here.
Yeah, you know.
We can fix this in post.
I will fix this in post.
It's fine.
Just move your
what was I
mouth
gonna-
and we'll just add it over.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. And he is a very seasoned game master or keeper of Call of Cthulhu.
Beautiful words, I might add.
Yeah.
I'm touched. I'm really. Well, thank you, Tables.
There was something I was going to say, and I just...
I looked into your eyes and I...
Yeah, my disembodied eyes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say very seasoned, but yes, thank you.
Scared the piss out of me.
Yeah, you gave it a nice rub, you know.
So you're only moderately seasoned, you know, just salt and pepper, maybe some paprika.
Just a light
Lemon
rub.
on there. Yeah.
Pass it over to Cal.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. I will be introducing the lovely Autumn. Say hello to everybody, Autumn.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi, Autumn.
Made it awkward now. Wonderful. But Autumn here is a wonderful friend, wonderful player. I've known her for a few years. Met her first through a campaign Billy was running. And she's been an invaluable part of our team here at Lore Weavers. I think it's safe to say that without her, this video series would not be happening. She's been incredibly useful with audio and with editing, and just one of the most reliable friends you could hope for. And she is also a voice actress from time to time. She's got a bit of work under her belt, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of it soon. She's done like a podcasty thing.
We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that one. People looking
Sweep
up
that under the rug.
the adult content that
The scary podcast that you were on.
Oh,
Yeah, I was referring to that.
I do two podcasts.
We can edit
You just
this
outed
out.
yourself
We're
hard,
gonna-
holy
shit.
We'll
Yeah.
edit it out when Tables has already decided we're editing. Shit, I'm sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
meant the spooky podcast.
No, it's okay.
You
I
were
thought
good
I
in
mentioned
that.
it once during the con, and I forgot I did. Okay, but yeah, if y'all were curious, I also do a host for like an adult-themed podcast. So, but I'm not gonna give out that information. If you want to find it, you can look for it.
Give me a second. Let me Google.
Why? Why are you here? Where did you come from? You weren't in my room a second ago.
Cat stuff.
Is there just a disembodied cat tail in your room? Is it just like an apparition?
It's on a Roomba.
Captain Wascaris is around. But anyways, that'll bring us over to Autumn then.
All right, I am going to introduce Billy. He's really awesome dude in terms like his storytelling and like world building is insane. He was my first DM and as the hub of how we all met each other. So yeah, his world building is insane and his map drawing abilities too. When he showed us actually to the scale that he was able to draw everything. What else? He also takes care of like lots of animals, which I really appreciate. He definitely has like a soft spot and like takes care of cats, which is really awesome. Very big heart. I believe he's also into hydroponics last time I remembered and like specifically gardening and stuff. I know we
Yep.
talked about that once, which was cool. But yeah,
I
he
enjoy water ecology in general.
cool. He's also Canadian.
Yeah.
So, maple syrup and stuff, and he doesn't use freedom units, which...
Freedom units.
I also think he in real life owns a elephant called Squirrel. That's a
Yes,
real life
yes.
thing.
It's actually moose, but
Oh, true.
Those are dangerous.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
he's like part-time lumberjack, Canada stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know he also has really cool hats that he wears a lot, so that's always fun just to see his hats.
Calls
So,
everyone bub.
This is true.
We love the hats.
So pass it over to Billy.
yep.
All right. I'll be introducing Tables. Tables and I met back at the very beginning of my Pod Nation campaign. Also, same time I met Callum. With Tables, he was actually a new player at the time, and it was a lot of fun in just working with him right from the get-go, creating his first character, although he ended up, he had a pitched character, but he ended up going with a different character. Timaru, who is a, what are those frog people called
Brung
again?
Ranger.
Grung, that's it. But a very neat character, very talented role player, and he took to the game and the role playing very well.
He took to it like a frog to water.
And it's just been an absolute blessing to play with him and to expand us as a group together, and also grow together as players and as a DM myself, and now a player for once, which is awesome. Thank you, Jack.
Finally.
And no, Tables has been phenomenal, and then with the editing, he has such a talent for smoothing things out on those final touches, which is it just blows me away. There's a lot of talent and knowledge that he's brought to the table and to the group, and brought to the table. There you go. Let's end on that.
Yeah, you can definitely tell where I passed off the editing stuff to him. If you watch the episodes, it is wildly visible. But yeah, I guess if that wraps that up. Rez, what do you think about me?
Oh, I think you're a bastard for skipping over me, first off. But second off, Jack is our DM, as you know, hopefully. And I myself still am unfortunately very unknowledgeable about many of the people here, being the newcomer. However, one thing I have picked up throughout my time is that he is very into the sports game, the one that you play ball in. And
Go back, go.
yeah, that one. I'm sure that means something to some of you. But other than that, play games with him every so often, hopefully more, now that I'm getting the time to hang out with these wonderful people, not just Jack, but also everyone else, Billy, Tables. I almost called you someone completely different, Autumn. And sometimes Speed. But yeah, I mean, great DM. Been happy to have been asked to have the pleasure of joining you all, and yeah, I hope we can continue to make a great story together.
Absolutely, man. It's been a blast. But But that will wrap up our series of chaotic introductions of each other. I hope you got to know us a little bit better and realize how chaotic we are. But to bring us into things here, it is roughly 7 a.m. on the 29th of Horisol, 1326 PD. War rages between the Liston Empire and Eagle's March. Throughout the entire continent of Leyora, smiths are working tirelessly. Volatile magics of war are being worked in grand capacity, and most importantly, innocent souls are being killed or pulled into a life of violence they never wished for. Yet, we find our strange menagerie of heroes, drunk and coming home from an all-night bar crawl for the most part, as Sushi, Gax, and Yonan all rise up for the elevator with the rope of mending as you arrive back to the house, pretty much belligerently drunk, some of you a little wounded, and all of you definitely exhausted, as there's a ding of the bell announcing the arrival of people to the penthouse that wakes everyone up, which, for the sake of our purposes, that would be Akash and Althadon.
You know, Yonan, how the fuck did you get that much down without throwing your guts out for a third time?
When you live amongst pirates like I do, you learn many a trick. You've shown me a few tricks tonight. The stories they tell you of Skull Island, I hear it. They're all true. They're all true. Oh, I could go for some breakfast.
I can go for a hot towel.
Any of you guys wonder what that big glowy thing in the sky is? I swear that thing's watching us.
Well,
I'm gonna go get some breakfast.
Sushi, do you mean the sun?
Yeah?
That's...
It stares into your soul. Trust me, if you look at it long enough, you won't be able to see anything.
Yes, Sushi, it is not advisable to stare directly into the sun.
Gax is just going over to the
floor
and just slamming his head on the desk.
As if the bells didn't already wake you up, you guys are definitely awake now as you hear the banging, Althadon and Akash. You guys managed to get a long rest in. As you're banging your head, you do notice there is like a breakfast bar that was sort of brought up. Like if you know, like in certain like hotels when you stay over, they have like the scrambled eggs, sausages, and stuff.
Hell yeah!
You just grab a handful of fucking eggs and yeah.
This is some good shit.
You know they do have spoons.
When the fuck did you get here?
I've been here this whole time.
Is a stealthy man, that one. He can sneak right up on you. He snuck up on me.
How much did you see?
I saw you guys arrive and then stick your hands in that bowl of eggs.
Sushi slowly takes a hand and grabs one.
You're just grabbing scrambled eggs in your hand.
Yeah.
And it's not like a boiled egg or anything. You're grabbing that. Akash, you come to in your quarters. You didn't fall asleep this way. But as you wake up, you realize your hand is clutching your sword.
Okay. Can you describe how I'm like laying? Like, am I like spooning my sword like a body pillow, or like?
It's less that. It's more like
you were that image, Autumn.
You're asleep, and your sword is like you're asleep. Weirdly enough, on your back, and you have your sword like you have the handle right here, so it's right there. It's next to you.
Okay.
So the sword is spooning him.
Sure.
I am the little spoon. Okay.
Big people love being little spoon. I can vouch for that.
This session is already off to a great Cards.
As
Oh,
I
God.
slowly wake up, because I
Mhm.
assume the noise and the conversation from like in the other room was kind of
Yeah.
like what kind of woke me, just
Yeah,
growing
exactly.
and just like, can I think instinctually I would release the sword, just like moving and just feel the weight and be like, wait, what? Is it unsheathed or is it
No.
in the?
It's sheathed.
Okay, so like then as I'm waking up, I when I feel the weight in my hand, just like I would like turn my head over and just look at it. It's just there.
It's like, who am I sleeping with? Oh, it's my sword.
Oh, it's you. I remember you from the bar.
I've had some weird mornings at college parties. I never woke up with a sword, though. Anyways.
Yeah, at that point then I would just set up slowly and take the sword and just like unsheath it and look at it. If everything seems like okay, because I'm
Yeah.
like as I'm kind of like getting out of the grogginess of waking up.
Everything seems fine. You have the aches and pains of all of the battles that you have fought yesterday. It was a long day. It's nothing mechanically that's negative for you, but just
Yeah.
you're older too, so you're stiff.
Yeah.
You got some welts on your back, and
Wait, how old is Akash?
I personally want to retcon it and make him like 45 ideally, but we got to talk about that later if that's
He
even
is,
okay.
It
Like
looks
early
good for his
40s,
age.
like 38 to 40-ish.
I had him at 38. Yeah.
Okay, then that's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like close to 40, like he's
Yeah.
not middle
Yes.
age quite, but like past prime of like peak physique.
Yeah,
Akasha's 38
definitely.
because I already wrote lore with time
Okay,
specific stuff.
that's
So
fine. That's close enough.
Definitely a DILF.
So then, yeah,
Available
everything.
for your erotic podcast.
oh no. Okay, let's get
You know
back
what? I
on
clearly
track.
insulted him. It's fine. You'll never know.
Everyone, 2 deep breaths. Center yourselves. All right.
We've gotten a bit
Okay.
silly.
All right.
Yeah,
Akash. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if everything looks fine and I feel fine, mine is just being sore and whatnot.
Mhm.
I would just put it down. I would try to remember how I fell asleep last night because I feel like I would have came back and had a conversation with Alphadon, seeing what he was doing, if he was still identifying things like he has been doing for the past 13 hours. Or is he just like living in the lap of luxury, drinking wine in a hot tub?
You can do both.
I
Yeah.
think
It's quiet for once.
after identifying stuff, he had a lot of spells he wanted to transcribe,
Okay.
and
So then, yeah.
then he took his long rest, which is 4
4
hours,
hours.
because
Okay.
yeah, meditation. And then he's been up since then. So
Yeah. So you're the one who actually went down to get the breakfast.
yes,
Yeah.
So then, yeah, you probably, if you were awake at that point or before
he
you
was
went to
probably
sleep, you
awake
would've
when you
seen him.
arrived.
Okay. Then,
Yeah.
yeah, we probably had a brief conversation. He was really grumpy and annoyed, and he just went to sleep. So, does he remember falling asleep or where the sword was? Because I feel like it would be, like, not with me. I feel like I
Ye-
would have put it against the wall or something.
Normally, for most swords, you would, but now that you think about it, just ever since you got the sword and attuned to it, you kept it close to you at all times. Like even when you didn't sleep with it in your bed, like you woke up with it in your bed, but usually you just leave it off by your clothes, like right next to the
Yeah.
bed, leaned up against the dresser.
He's just going to, like, just chalk
Just
it up to being tired.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Exhausted. So yeah, at that point, he just hearing everyone. What time is it roughly? That he
7 in the morning.
Okay.
I'm giving you the effects of a long rest. You technically didn't get 8 hours of sleep, but
Okay.
That's
give
not
me
how that
one
goes.
second. Letting the cat out. Then yeah, I would just slowly get up and then get dressed and just go out to see what everyone's doing, or if everyone just to see what's going on, because Akash still thinks that everyone came back last night. So
yeah.
yeah.
So Akash, as you walk out, you see Gax, handful of scrambled eggs. Sushi, handful of scrambled eggs. Definitely rum and wine stains on all of their clothing. They reek of booze. And then you just see Alphadon also there.
You knew where Alphadon was, so that's
Yonan has a plate because Yonan's not a bloody savage.
Are you guys then, would you say, and I'm sorry if I'm asking questions, I just kind of want to understand, are you guys still, would you say, like, tipsy, like the shadow of after you've been, like, kind of wasted, you're still awake, kind of like that, and you know, that weird...
Actually, I'll
the
go
last
make a
drink
roll
I
for
had-
let's see if Sushi is or not.
The last drink I had was like a half an hour ago, so...
Okay, yeah.
Still
so
drunk
y'all
for Dax,
blocked
yeah.
Yeah.
Sushi is hammered. And also, you see, now just noticing, another figure with them, another smaller goblin that is also piss drunk.
Yes.
So there we were, you know, riding the squirrel through all the areas.
Stick. Is that
What
you?
was I saying again? Oh yeah, who the fuck are you?
I'm gonna throw him off the balcony.
That's Alfred the Barrel.
Ah, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I told you he grew up into a real humanoid.
You know, you always tell the truth, Sushi. Always tell the truth. Ooh, those eggs! And he goes over, puts both of his hands in the scrambled egg mess.
Okay.
Hi, big dragon man. I'm Stick.
You remember Stick, right? I think... 1 second. She leaves the room.
Gax, do you actually make any sort of movement to throw him out? Like, or do you just say that?
No, he just said, because right now Gax is like sitting at the bar.
He's like
just sitting on
slumped. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw him out.
Yeah, Sushi's vomiting in her room. You can hear her. Yeah.
all just get
Where is Bellcat?
Yonan, you're looking around now. He's fucking nowhere in sight. And trying to think back on like the last few hours. Somewhere a couple hours ago at one of the taverns you lost him.
I specifically mentioned, like, at the last end of the last session that Yonan was sort of holding back on the drinks a little more to try and keep an eye on him.
True. Yes.
And I was...
But you guys had... During the, like, fighting pit area is where it started to get a little hazy. You had that drinking competition with Stick, so that kind of affected all that. Here, I'll make a roll about it. You would not have noticed him slip away, unfortunately. But you would find a little note in your pocket.
I check it. I go unfold it.
Sorry I had to run. Didn't want to be a burden. It starts with Captain. And then, like, scratches it out. Bellcat McPherson.
Yeah, we got here a few minutes
Oh,
ago.
cousin. My fucking cousin, you've got the worst. Even when you choose to do the right thing, you pick the worst fucking time.
I just imagine the scene, like, he's just staring at everyone, like, in this mess of the goblins destroying the eggs, and just, like, looking at Alphadon and being, like, looking back.
I can get
And
another
he kind
batch
of
of eggs if you don't feel like that's gonna work for you.
He kind of just... I want to go up and get Stick.
You want to go up to Stick?
I want to grab him, yes.
Yes,
While
okay.
he's eating. I want
He's
to grab
eating.
him.
What the hell? What?
I want to go to the door and put him on the thingy, the
elevator deal?
elevator,
Yeah.
and then just cut the rope.
Wait, we can talk?
Nope.
That seemed excessive, Akash.
As he comes back in, he doesn't say anything, but he goes over to... I assume, is there like a kitchen area that's in or a separate room? Okay.
It's like it's like an open kitchen deal.
Okay. Is there any large tubs or some I don't know
Yeah.
what Akasha's carrying weight is. Can I carry a barrel, or can I something large that I can put water in?
You can get like a big old bucket of water if you want. Carrying a barrel, you could probably carry a barrel. It'd
Yeah,
be
it's
tough.
like I
but
don't
you
know,
could.
like something like a little larger. Okay, either way, I'm gonna grab like a large receptacle of water,
Mhm.
and I'm just going to systematically just dump it on every single person who's hungover at this point.
What are you doing with that? Hey,
Yeah, it's just like
Yonan takes
Just
it.
one by
Yonan
one.
just like lays his
Ew.
arms out and just embraces it.
and it's like ice cold. It's like absolutely ice cold.
Oh,
smell like
hear
wet
that
no.
in my nipples.
And then I go in and do it to Sushi.
She has her back turned, like just hurled over. Still,
Ugh.
yeah,
She's yakking.
yep.
And then I just yell,
oh my-
sober up, we need to talk. And
Oh my god.
as just everyone is now dealing with like that shock of the ice cold. This was an attempt to kind of just like snap everyone up into alertness.
Yeah,
It does.
Gax,
Actually works.
Gax immediately like stands up, fucking takes off his shirt, and just like shakes like a fucking dog.
And he just says,
to
be
get
in the
the
living
water
room in
off.
like 30 minutes.
Ugh.
So he's giving you time to like change and get yourselves situated. And then he just goes
Is
back in
there-
his room and slams his door shut.
Is there coffee here? Is there?
Alphadon did have the forward thinking of bringing up a large thing of coffee. Yes.
Yes, I also got that alchemist tools out and was brewing something. I don't know if it turned out good, so I could roll for that.
What are you trying to brew?
Remember, I made was it?
Yeah, the hangover thing
hangover
that
cure.
was horrible. Yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to
Do you want to
improve the
try the
recipe.
2.0?
Yes.
Okay, give me a
Alchemist tools.
supplies.
Hey, Althadon.
What?
While you're doing that, I know you're pretty good with spells. Do you have anything to dry me off? Can't exactly change clothes like the rest of you.
Yeah. I
Sure.
forgot about that.
Just precipitation.
Yeah, you're dry. With a 22, yeah, you basically just scrapped the first recipe after finally realizing it wasn't very good and started over. And you use some seaweed that's around here and some other stuff that you picked up along the way and actually make a pretty good hangover cure.
Well, still don't know if I got the flavor quite right, but here you go. This should help with the
What's
headache.
this?
Like a little tincture.
Is it poison?
Sort of like a dark green color.
Counter poison.
She just downs it.
Yeah. Doesn't taste great, but in about 10 minutes, you're going to start to sober up a little bit. You imagine that there's some form of like, or like coffee has like caffeine that'll, like sort of like an upper, I guess. So there's some part of this has that in there too, but it also is like a sort of like a system resetter in a way.
Yeah. After Gax takes that, because he was probably the one that had a drink the furthest before you guys left, right? The closest
Mhm.
time before last drink. So he
Yep.
just kind of like leans on the on the counter and takes like a couple breathers. He's like, "Ooh." he has to like steady himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As you all sober up a little bit, enough, over the course of the next 30 minutes, you're able to bathe, change clothes if you need to, to meet Akasha in the living room.
There was a hot tub or pool or something, wasn't there?
There's both.
All right, that's where Sushi bathes.
Okay. That checks out.
Of course.
So you're able to bathe. Vomiting that stuff out of your system is helpful too, Sushi. But as you all sort of come back a little bit cleaned, a little bit more aware of yourselves, a little bit more in control of your faculties, How do they find Akash in the living room?
So he probably would wait an additional 5 minutes just
Mhm.
because how everyone is fashionably late to most things. And
Yep.
so he would come out. Oh, huh?
Oh, Gax doesn't really have to do all that much. So he's probably there pretty quickly.
Okay. So then, yeah, he would wait until, like he said, 30 minutes, but he'd wait for an additional 5 minutes and then come out with. He would have. If we can like roleplay this and say he found this in it, like this makeshift like easel type of thing that I can put a document and hold it in. He'd bring that out and
brings out the slide.
There's a
show.
lectern. You open a closet. There's a full lectern in this area. Like seriously, you're able to snag that and sort of
Yeah,
pull that into the living
this
room.
is the presidential suite. This is where they have the business meetings.
It's effectively the presidential suite.
okay. Then yeah, so basically what he would end up doing is pulling that out, setting that up, and all you would see is like the map of Leyora, or to the best of what he knows, like from where he's been. He would
Mhm.
have like a really crudely drawn image of like the just the areas of what he's familiar with. It's not like a fully drawn out detailed map. It's very much looks like
You see, you have like the
better than
Draconian
Sushi.
Crags in there. You have
Yeah.
the stagnant spires. A lot of stuff in the southern Bend area. That's where you've lived most
Yeah.
of your life. So you have the Gemkeeper Mountains, North Wall. You know, some of the cities and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then he brings out a chair and he puts it in the middle. So my brain, how I'm imagining it is this couch is like curved. I don't know why, but I imagine we have like this curved, like bougie couch in the
Mhm.
presidential
We're in
suite.
improv land. It is now.
Yeah.
I'm on the love seat.
Oh yeah.
There's a curved couch. You know, there's a few other chairs around too.
Yeah. And he kind of just puts like in this like pseudo circle where you have like the map that and everything, and then he puts a chair in the center. And then he waits for everyone to get there, basically.
Gax is just watching you do this, like, what the hell?
You guys
Yeah.
can just hear splashing in the background from the next room.
But eventually, Sushi, you do get ready and
Yeah.
head in.
Oh, I was gonna say,
she
like,
comes
we can
just
roleplay
dripping
me,
wet
like-
when she comes in. Big water streak behind her. She was in her clothes when she was swimming.
Altadon, I assume you immediately press the digitation to dry her off.
Yes, yes.
Where
Yes.
did you learn how to exist, Sushi?
In the lands down under.
I don't ever want to go there.
You wouldn't last long. She just carries on.
Gax is just like, huh?
And Yonan, do you enter wearing some fresh clothing?
Yeah, I'd imagine Yonin would be. Yeah, he's changed into his other set of leather armor. He's been wearing his leather armor the whole night. So he's wearing the same clothes he fought the Aboleth in all night last night. So he's changed into his other set of armor. And he is yeah, I'd imagine he actually got in a few minutes before the others do. He's got a big cup of coffee in a shaky hand, not saying much, just sort of looking down.
Fine. There, I will have the
Okay.
funny background on.
All right.
I like Berzois. Anyway. Okay.
Anyways, Yonan, as you enter, you sit on the curved couch.
I'll sit there, sort of to the side. They got lecterns here. Is this a bloody PowerPoint?
Basically.
Yeah, Gax comes in.
You
"What
get
the
a
hell
fucking
is-"
nosebleed. Yeah.
Yeah, Gax comes in. What the hell is a PowerPoint? And he just plops down
What
right
the
on
hell's a
on the-
JPEG? Okay,
Yeah, plops down on one of the other seats.
Yeah, Althadon came in on time when he said that the meeting was to happen.
Mm.
So a couple minutes after
Gax.
Gax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry,
So
cat.
you've been watching this whole thing
Oh.
go on as well.
So then, yeah, if when everyone is finally able to make it, he would go back into his room though really quickly and grab a towel and throw it at Sushi so that she has something to dry off with.
Well, she got prestidigitation.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, I missed the part. Okay, so then never mind that. Okay, so at this point, like, how is like everyone sitting? Like, how is or feeling? Is everyone like pretty sobered up, or is it like light hangover? Is everyone tired? Just like what would Akash see with everyone?
X is definitely feeling the effects of a hangover just because of how close he had his last drink.
Okay.
But I mean, he's a drunkard. It's not anything he hasn't gone through before, so he definitely feels it. But you know, it's like my old friend, you know.
Okay.
So he's.
Yonan is tired and hungover. He's sobering up quickly, but he's tired and hungover.
They're still a bit dehydrated.
And you, Sushi?
Sushi's just enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
A time where
Sushi is vibing.
oh yeah, she's just enjoying the moment of not having to deal with fighting.
Okay. Then yeah, what you would see then on once everyone's there, Akash would walk over to the lectern and basically turn it on, and this is when you would see it changes slightly. Where can you repeat the information that you shared with him, because I'm really bad with names, Jack, about the impending invasion from last session? You were saying that they were. Like,
Yeah.
it's basically showing that. It's showing like the troops like going towards that city.
Yeah. So, the lectern is just like a stand for you to speak from. If you want to turn it around for you're looking for like a chalkboard or something to put the map up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can get that. That's just a different sort of thing.
Okay.
But that is also.
There was a chalkboard in the portable hole. I don't remember if I left it in Seawards Port though.
No, we have the portable hole.
No, I emptied some stuff out of the portable hole before we left.
Gotta keep inventory.
Yeah.
If
Either
not,
way, no big deal. There's something there if you guys use.
Okay.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But as far as like the names for when I was talking about the past stuff with Theodred, Niskin,
not that stuff specifically. He would be, because the information that he got from the parrot was about upcoming invasion possibly, or troops being assembled to a certain place.
Yeah, they're moving. So there's a battle going on right now for the Rotten Pass. But he didn't really mention.
Yeah.
But they are assembling troops near barracks where it's or from the White Barony so that they can go across to invade Eagle's March.
Yeah. So then
particularly Everguard.
Okay. So it would be kind of a very rough sketch of that. If he's not familiar with every single location, it would just be like in almost like a football style, like map of like when they talk about strategy and positions, you would see like lots of people.
Play.
Yeah. So it's very rough.
Little stick figures of the Empire. Guys.
It's more like X's and O's.
But yeah, same vibe though. Okay. So as he finishes that, he turns around and he looks at everyone and he's like, "What are you guys thinking?"
I'm thinking you need to work on your art skills.
Yonan is staring at the map. How bad are Akash's art skills? Can Yonan recognize the landmasses?
Dick go.
What is my dick stick?
I mean, you also would have had to draw up stuff at times in your military career.
Yeah, it depends on his formality of knowing the area, I would say. So, and just awareness of geography.
Yeah,
I'd say it's like you can recognize the like where
I mean, he
gosh,
would have
Shaw's, like,
labeled
mountains. You
names.
can yeah.
Like he would have written out the names. So
Well, yeah, but this means nothing to Gax.
that's fair. But yeah, no, he said that and he's just looking at everyone now.
I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Is that
We're-
a naval?
World.
Are they launching a naval assault on
We're in
Eagle's
Waterworld,
March?
Gax.
No, the map. The map is that's the White Bent Bear. They're assembling the Northern Armada. That's Everguard. Is this what the parrot told you last night?
And then he looks at everyone.
Is that why you were
Yes.
so grumpy when you arrived?
Yes. While everyone was deciding to have a vacation, I've learned of an impending invasion that's happening. So I figured we all could have a little chat. And you can hear kind of like the sarcasm in his voice at that point.
I'm sorry, but why are you being so smug? You didn't tell us about this last night.
You've been acting funny since we got back here.
I tried to tell you. I came in and then I was met with
Tried to tell who? Because I wasn't discussed in any of this.
you were fighting. I went and tried to talk to Yonan and Sushi and Sushi's friend. And they were preoccupied.
Yeah.
Okay, in my defense, you were trying to have a serious discussion while Sushi and Stick were having a drinking contest. Sushi and Stick sober would have derailed that conversation.
And this is why I wanted to have a conversation with all of you. Why are we all here?
Because the silly lady brought us here. I'd
I
like
don't
to
think
go
that's
back.
what he means.
We're here
Why are we all
because
here?
we escaped the Liston Empire's forces after defeating the Aboleth.
Cold? Any other takers?
We're resting and recovering from almost dying fighting bloody Aboleth.
You're not resting. You're partying and ingesting toxic substances that can change your mental state.
I'm sorry, but the last
describing-
time I heard, we're not gonna be able to go anywhere for another day.
I believe that was
Aye.
retcon. Jack, I thought we're going back today, question mark?
It was either you're going back today or tomorrow, depending on if
Okay.
basically Martina can charge it. So it's a possibility you'll be going back later today.
You don't rest by getting completely shit-faced, and I wanted to bring you all here. We're not here to rest, we're not here to party. We're at war. We're here as a rebel group to fight the Empire.
I'm
as
sorry.
this happens, and then he points to, like, he kind of like slams his head on the hand on the board.
I'm sorry. We may have gotten off on the wrong foot. I came here to help with the situation at
Seawards Port.
Oh my god.
You never
Seawards
told
Port.
him?
I
Never
just came
told-
here to fix the Aboleth problem.
There's a lot of things I haven't told Gax. Could you be more specific?
And then he actually growls, and like his hand kind of like runs down his face in frustration. Well, welcome to be incorporated to a rebel group to fight the actual Empire, Gax.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I thought that conversation we had not that long ago was just so we could console each other about old war stories, not that we're going into a war.
We're already in it.
I've been on the other side of having to fight off the Empire, and I didn't want to have to do that again. I just wanted to help some people. I didn't want to get sucked into something like this.
Well, then it's good we're having this conversation. 'Cause I have something that I need to talk to all of you about. Who wants to be first?
If we're gonna be fighting people, shouldn't we try to get more allies and make friends?
I'm
That
sorry,
way we got more people to fight with us.
And
Larger herd.
how reliable
So
is this
she's not
information?
wrong.
And
Oh,
how?
everyone start.
Go ahead.
No, go on. I just meant like everyone was talking over each other. I couldn't hear.
Sorry.
Well, you're okay.
Well, and how reliable is this information that you have here of this attack coming to Everguard?
From my understanding, relatively high. I can't necessarily go into specifics of how we gather information, but I can say with certain accuracy that something is happening and it's going to involve the Empire going there. For what reason or purpose, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to derail this conversation again. What the fuck? I came here for a very specific reason. And I would have very much liked to know that
Hamster.
Cat.
Trying to have a serious moment here.
I would.
The noise sounded like a hamster. I was so confused what the noise was.
It was a cat.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I would have very much liked to have known this. Basically, by the time I stepped foot on the fucking docks of Seawards Port, that you guys were. I'm feeling very confused because I was told by Nelsa that you guys were just here to. Oh. And you see Gax, he's just like.
Trying to process everything.
Yeah, he's just like.
What did he get himself wrapped up in?
Yeah.
Okay. Gax, I'm a bit hungover right now. I can't quite remember what conversations we had when. The last 48 hours been a bit of a blur. Lot of stuff happened. Lot of very traumatizing events. If there's anything you'd like me to recap, but
No, honestly, Yonan, I think I've heard enough of your voice because all you do is withhold information and say stupid jokes. I would like someone who's a little bit more straightforward in this situation to give me a full-on rundown because this is an entirely whole other can of worms that I've apparently stepped into than I thought I did.
mixing metaphors a bit, but sure.
Talk about traumatizing, Yonan. Why don't you come up and have a seat? And he like just puts his hand on the chair, like the back of it.
Bloody hell, why not? Yonin steps forward, sits on the chair.
Okay.
Am I
What?
under court-martial now?
No, nothing like that. Everyone
This is
kind
a
of needs,
weird
I feel, to
ritual.
have. Just we need to ask some questions. And he just. So, and he kind of turns to Yax. You haven't heard anything about what was
No.
going on.
Well, obviously I know that the Empire is a problem, but it's not my fucking problem. I came in here to do one thing. And for all I know, that still isn't done. Right? There's
It's
still
dead.
issues going
It's
on
still-
on Seawards Port.
We don't know what's happening.
I
There's
came
armies
here-
there
Diabolus is
still.
dead.
I want you to shut the
Diabolus is
fuck
dead.
up. Alright? Because you, he points to Yonan, are mainly the reason why I don't know shit. So I want you to keep your mouth shut until I finish talking. I came here to do one thing. I would have liked to know that it was going to be more than that. The moment I stepped foot, so I knew when to get the fuck out. But no, apparently common decency isn't for everyone. So please, please, oh please, tell me what the fuck is going on so I can start to understand. Dumb it down as much as possible because you know I'm slow.
I'm on a mission from the king.
We'll get to you, Sushi. So he
Yonan
kind of
just gives a big smile at that comment.
But you do have one thing right there, Gaxon. Oh, I can fill you in. Alphadon can fill you in. We will fill you in on what's happening. But Yonan, and he kind of takes a step to the side of the chair. You have been quite outspoken during our entire experience since I've been here with you.
I have been told I talk too much.
Not even that. You tend to. Can we all agree that Yonan's our pseudo leader here? He kind of has been kind of directing our action. Like,
He comes up with the majority of the plans, and in that way, I would agree that yes, he is taking a lead.
yeah. What about you, Sushi? Would you say he has been taking a leadership role in this group?
Well, he seems to know what he's talking about, and I don't really know that much about where we're going, and so I figure it'd be safer.
Right. Yonan, you, and he kind of clasps his hand together. You have been, in one way or another, leading our little group, the Plumbers, through many different situations.
We'll explain the name in a moment.
How would you say how would you say you've been doing?
Considering that we've managed to run a largely successful break-in at the most secure prison of the Empire, infiltrate a city that had been guarded by a massive military contingent that were out looking for me specifically, prevent the execution of one of your compatriots, the Warbler. You're welcome, Akash. And also, oh, that's right, kill a bloody aboleth. I'd say we're not doing half bad.
A few of us
Could
killed
be
him.
better. What?
Where were you in that fight?
Yeah, actually, I don't think I saw you the entire time during that situation.
I'm very stealthy. That's going to be a common occurrence in fights. I got up high, I got a vantage point, I took out the bloody wizard.
But you see, your mouth gets us into trouble sometimes. And who has to be the one who has to face things head on while you hide and fight from the back line like a bitch?
Like a bitch.
Yonan, why did we go to that prison in the first place?
Because Leona makes eye contact with Akash. And what kind of face is Akash making right now?
He's very serious. He's not showing any anger, aggression, or anything. It is a very important conversation. So he's very stone-faced and just looking at you seriously.
Leona pauses for a moment. We went to the prison because I manipulated you and the joint insurgents into breaking in and rescuing several of my relatives.
Right. And he like puts his finger out and like kind of like just like swipes. He's like, right. And then he kind of stands up straighter. What was your main motivation for coming to Seawards Port?
To save the life of my sister.
Yes. Yonan McPherson. The family man of many, 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 many McPherson. Every single decision that you've led us has been clouded with the ultimate motivation of your family. Not the objective that we've been set out to do. To prevent the Empire from causing pain and turmoil. But no, it's to protect your family. And what does Yonan during like this, what is he kind of doing?
He just meets your... Are you looking at him?
Yeah. He's looking
Meets
at
your
you in this
stare.
entire thing.
He meets your stare dead on, just raises his mug of coffee to his lips very slowly, takes a long sip without ever breaking eye contact.
And you might be wondering why I'm bringing this up. We're at war right now. We've been brought together with the objective of stopping the Empire. We're at war with the Empire. Yonan, as someone who has led this group, as someone whose fucking big mouth has gotten us into more trouble to unorthodoxly go and protect your family, I want to ask you this. Where does your loyalty actually lie in this? Are you here to honestly put a stop to the Empire? Or are you here to just protect your family?
Yes. Yes.
And he's just looking at you, yes?
Yeah.
You didn't really answer the question there.
You're going to have to explain better than that, Yonan. That doesn't answer my question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were tired of hearing my smart mouth.
I'm tired of not knowing your true motives.
And Ewan takes a moment to compose himself. I apologize if I haven't been as straightforward with my intentions. Yes, I do put on a bit of an act, especially back in Beric's world, but I've tried to be mostly straight with a lot of you. It's been... Obviously, I could be doing better.
Gax just flips him off.
Enough with the flowery language, Yonan. Answer my question.
The way to protect my family is by taking on the Empire. That's how I... Completing our mission, doing the job we were sent to do, that is how I protect my family.
But that's not it. You're directly leading us primarily to protect your family and achieve the goals that were set forth as a secondary. It has always been the first thing we do is make sure your family is safe. First thing we do is identify your family. The first thing that we do is protect your family. Time, resources, days to make sure they're safe before we do what we're meant to be doing here.
I'm sorry, just what are we supposed to be doing here?
We were sent to...
What do you think our mission is?
We were sent to Seawards Port to stop the poisoning. We weren't there to save your sister. We were sent there to stop the poisoning, figure out what was going on, and get the military out of that city. But we spent...
I'm sorry. That's, perhaps I got my head a bit struck during the evening. I seem to be recalling a very different sort of order of events. Quite different, in fact. I seem to recall heavily injured Mr. Greyhawk, can't remember off the top of my head which one it was, coming to us on the night of Black Fires, clutching my ice shirt and telling me they're gonna execute your sister. And I remember you three, not you, that came later, you three jumping at the bit to volunteer to go and help me. But to help me save someone's life. To save the life of someone who had dedicated fucking every ounce of energy she had to protecting that town.
Yonan, it would have been fine if it was just a one-off case. But lying to us, breaking into prison, knowing that you're a wanted criminal, meeting your younger siblings, it's a pattern.
And do you think...
Oh, go on.
Sorry, go on.
Oh. I really want to ask you. We're at war. Do you think this is the right time and environment to be including your family, to be associating with your family as a wanted criminal, knowing there are many groups that are out to get you? Do you think this is the time that you should be around them? You've seen what happened to Nelsa.
I saw what happened to Nelsa. I was there. You didn't see me, but I was there. I saw what happened.
May I interject? There's been a lot of we talk, and I've been sitting here listening to it for a long time. I'm going to leave the room. Because until I get an acceptable explanation, this we talk is a you talk. And then Gax is going to get up, and he's just going to leave for his room.
Was that directed towards Akash?
No, he's just saying it generally.
Oh, okay.
Gax, you get up, you turn around to go to your room. You see this standing in the cracked door, tired from her injuries, is Nelsa, leaning against the frame, listening to this. And as you turn around, you lock eyes with her.
He just stares, just giving a, like, come on, look.
Did she know? Or was she also under the guise of it was just an aboleth?
You don't know how much she knew.
Okay.
She fought the aboleth a long time ago, so that was her sort of mission. But this is yeah, she's just staring at you, Gax. Kind of cocks her head a little bit.
He just kind of like, he looks angry. He just lets out a big sigh. And he's just like, don't let my presence hold you up. And then he goes to get some food. Because you said before the bar was like attached to this, like,
Yeah. It's an open sort of concept space. You guys are in the where this conversation is happening is in the more living roomish part, but it is an open. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's removing himself, but he's not leaving like he said before.
Okay.
So you can still hear everything, or kind of just
yeah,
listening?
he's just basically like across the room at the bar eating now.
Mm-hmm. It's a big ass open room, but yes, you can absolutely hear.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to do, Gax? I don't want to interrupt or anything.
No, he was just like, I'm gonna remove myself from this because for all I know, for all I care and know about, this is you guys.
Okay. What's everyone else doing during this point too? Like body, like facial, and or they just kind of like, are you all just kind of listening and watching?
I think Sushi would just be getting like lost and wandering with stuff, just kind of playing with stuff around the room, listening in, but completely distracted at the same time.
Althadon is he's sitting there listening to what's going on, looking for guys to calm down a bit
Before he interjects.
before he interjects
Fair
anything.
enough.
Feeling the tenseness of the situation, then I guess.
Yes.
And going back then to it, Yonan, Yonan, war isn't a place to bring your family. Don't you see that the more you interact with them, especially that you're a wanted criminal?
You keep saying that.
Just said it. You
We're
said that there are
all
people out to get you.
criminals. It's kind of our thing.
We don't go out of our way to save people who are innocent. Us just associating with them is going to bring them into our mess.
Who
it's
decides
just going to hurt
who's
them.
innocent?
I'm sorry. Are we talking about my family or are we talking about yours, Akash?
And just kind of looks at you. He's like, what?
Yeah, I'm curious. I think you might be engaging in a bit of a, what's that fancy word? Projection. Just a smidge.
Yonan, I wish I had a family. Like you. I'm an orphan. I don't remember my parents. He just says it plainly, dead face. To you.
Oh, that's tragic. It is. It's quite tragic. But you got some people you're close to, like that fella back at Seawards Port, the doctor fella.
And he just looks at you, like he kind of like more intently stares at you. And I make sure that I don't associate with him unless it's safe. There's reasons that I have not... That person, we go years without seeing each other.
That's because that's how you do things, because that's how you take care of things. You've got people that you... Well, do you love this man?
We're not making this about me right now, Yonan.
Oh, I think you're the one that made this about you. The
No.
moment you called us all into this big meeting. Oh no, this is your meeting.
Yes. If you want to ask me questions after this, you can, and I can. If you want to hear my history, sure. What I'm trying to say...
I've heard a bit of your history. I've heard that you've done things and seen things that that friend of yours doesn't know shite about.
No, he does. Well, yeah, he would say that. No, he knows all of it.
He knows that. He knows about the flame of the basin. He knows about the Lore.
Yes. If you want to know, he's actually one of my top informants that gives me information on what's going on within the military.
So he is involved then. You're getting him involved, you're using him as a source, you're getting him deeper into the war.
No, that was his choice. I asked him to leave and he chose not to. I didn't force him. I didn't force him like you're forcing your family.
Force! Me, force. See, it's funny. I keep getting accused last couple of days of running my mouth on things that I don't know about. That's fine. I don't take it personally. I'm a con man. Running my mouth on things that I don't know about is a skill I've cultivated well. But you, right now, Mr. Orphan Man, talking to me about family. Oh, gosh, don't you think maybe you're the one who doesn't know shite about what he's talking about?
I'm not here talking about family. I'm talking about war. And what we can do to win and achieve our objective. And from the looks of what I see, you can have as many brothers and sisters as you want. But you're just going to keep leading us to protect them. You're just going to spend most of your time talking to them. Most of what we do associates around you and your life. We don't even get to hear much. Alphadon and Sushi don't get to do much. Yonin, we're basically following you as your puppets. And I'm tired of it. You're a half-cracked leader and you've only led us into more danger. In terms for family. I'm Yonan McPherson. I have 50 billion relatives. It's a danger.
I think I'd want to keep my family close in war times. You never know when it's going to be your last moment. I'd want to spend every moment with them.
Every animal is safer inside the herd. And Yonan
What are you gonna
raises his
do then
cup
when
to
we have 50
Sushi.
fucking McPhersons that are following us?
Lead them into fucking war then!
You would lead
War's
your
already come to us!
You would lead your those children into war?
I tried to lead them out. I tried to keep them safe. And the soldiers made it pretty fucking clear they didn't care who was a child and who was not. So the children, all on their own, started shooting back.
But you want to bring them in deeper. Without their consent.
Why don't we just prepare them?
Are we gonna conscript child soldiers like the military does?
No.
As that's what's
Tell
next?
them what go up so they're prepared.
Gax actually speaks up as he's like half has a mouthful and he's just like, it's bad enough they have you, Sushi.
Sushi's old enough to rip a man's throat out with her teeth. Sushi's no child.
Don't fucking kid yourself.
We'll get to that. And he looks over at you, kind of just like he understands the stare of like, yeah.
I don't
kind of-
understand.
And he looks back at Yoden.
Like a bad parental figure.
Sudden crisis!
Do you want me to answer that question?
Make a roll for bad parenting.
I love this now. He's just having an existential crisis now. He's like, am I a bad dad?
Is an existential crisis a D12?
I think it's a D100.
Yeah.
And for you guys, it's you hit
Maybe
it
a couple.
between 1 and 99
Yeah.
is when you're in existential crisis.
Oh, but yeah. So
Sounds about right.
he looks back at you and kind of he stands in front of you and turns to you, Yonan. What you're doing is just going to get your entire family killed. Bringing them into this mess. Having them fight our battle. Are you prepared for that? And he kind of, his voice at this point isn't yelling as where he was like yelling and very tense. It's much more of like, you can tell that it's trying to come from a place of like concern. Like it's a lot softer in inflection.
And I think just in this moment, and obviously Speed, you do with this what you will. I think how quick it is up to you, but I think there's a flash of what the aboleth showed you. A poppy dead in your arms.
Yonan sort of stares at his hands. You don't know what you're talking about, Akash. You don't know how family works. I don't control them. I wish I could control them. I wish I could tell them to leave. I wish I could tell them to fucking stop. I. Oh, fuck. I tried to get them to leave this life. I wanted them to leave. I wanted Becca to do something with herself. I wanted her to be a honest living. She's a painter, a damn fine one. She got her working, cooking folks' books and forging exit papers. Poppy, she should be in school. She should be with children. She should be learning. And I've tried to tell them this. I've tried to tell them we can be more than just a bunch of thieves and killers. But they all bloody act like they don't have a choice. It's the same thing I hear over and over when it's in our blood. I'm a McPherson. It's not the fucking name. It's not the blood. It's our choices. Our choices. I chose this. I chose rebelling against the Empire. I chose to risk my neck. Because it seemed like the best option. And I wanted them to make a different choice. I wanted them to make a smarter choice. See, that's the thing about family, Akash. That's the beauteous, wonderful, good, awful thing. And you see Yonan's crying a little now.
That pisses him off. He kind of scowls at you at that point.
The thing about family is you're in love with something you can't control.
But you're trying to.
Of course I'm trying to. Of course I'm bloody trying to.
Don't you see? You're lecturing me about not understanding what family is. You're lecturing me about you can't control their choices, yet you're trying to. You have two goals and they're conflicting with one another. You're trying to protect and control your family, make sure that they don't get tied to this. But you've directly inserted yourself to be tied with this war. The more you associate with them, the more you're around it, you're just going to bring it closer and closer to them until they get killed. And the more time you try saving them, the more resources we're wasting. You're inhibiting us and them equally. You're going to get them killed and you're going to get us killed because we're going to be trying to save your fucking family for the 50th time.
So just so we're all on the same page, saving my sister, saving her from being hanged, that was a waste of resources.
As I've said, if it wasn't a pattern. This is like the 4th time.
Why did you choose a con man to be your front runner?
He opened his mouth from the beginning. We didn't really get a chance to say anything. I trusted him. I kept my mouth shut. I'm not doing that anymore. Yonan, I get that you love your family. I get that you care about them. But if you can't see the liability that it's posing on our actual mission, regardless of saving your sister from getting hanged, lying to us about the prison, we've saved your family. Even what happened with Bellcat, you ended up staying out all night, knowing within a day or so that all of you, that we have to return and finish our mission. Our mission's not done. You don't rest and relax and party until the mission is done. Don't forget why we're here.
Gosh, the mission will never be done.
It's the funny thing about war.
Yeah. That's why you gotta enjoy the moments. And she kind of just takes a hand, just puts it on Yonan, and then just kind of walks off.
Not while we're in the middle of an operation. Yonan, you need to stop putting your family first. You put your family first before our safety. How can we trust you to be a leader knowing that your judgment is always going to be persuaded to your family first? Protect family first before you protect the group.
You're sounding an awful lot like the people you guys are fighting against, Yonan.
You protect your family first.
I'm sorry, what was that, Gax?
You sound like the exact same people that you guys are fighting against. The ones who
Could you
only care about your fucking own.
What do you care about?
I want to make sure the world's a better place. Whatever I can do to make sure that happens, I'll put myself up for that.
Better place for who?
The people who get a chance. The people who aren't associated with this. The people who the Empire are fucking over. Even you guys, if you survive this. And he kind of just shrugs it off. He just kind of like mentions that, like, like leading to a mumble.
Akash, you made some good points on Yonan's leadership, but I think you've been a bit too hard on him.
Why do you think that?
Going back to Barrack's word, the Greyhawk siblings are the ones who first brought up the breaking into the prison. There was a few people that they needed out of there, and yes, Yonan jumped onto the plan and started strategizing on how to get everything to go down, but it was there was a reason we went there besides his relatives.
You're right.
And we did agree to come down here to save his sister.
Yes. That's why I haven't been attacking him about this too much. This specific thing. But I don't want to interrupt you if you're not done.
The point is, his family are also people who need our protection. To which point, Yonan, would there be any way you could think of convincing your family to leave Seawards Port? Because we know you have family that moved up to Brightshore. Not the safest place since it's so close to the southern barony, but it is out of the Listen Empire.
Going back, Jack, I thought Brightshore? Was that?
They might have carried on to Everguard.
They were, some of them were going to carry on to Everguard. Then there was another group of your family that you sent to the Manitibo, which is not a part of the Empire and never has been.
I don't plan on dragging me siblings into battle with us unless that is unavoidable. Yes, I'd prefer if Becca and Poppy and Delphina were to leave Seawards Port for someplace a mite bit safer. I'm not sure I can convince them to go.
Well, even if you can't convince them, you can distance yourself from them. We can achieve our goal, you can say goodbye, and we can move on.
That might not necessarily keep them safe with this history of being wanted.
And this goes back
Aye.
to my point. We spend exorbitantly more resources protecting Yonan's family because they so happen to be related to Yonan.
Yes, there's a
They're
lot
not-
of people who are suffering in the Empire, and we shouldn't just focus on his family, but
And that's what I'm
they
saying.
are people we know who are in danger, so I don't see why we shouldn't help them out.
We've put our lives in danger just to protect them. We've spent time and resources, days, explicitly protecting them. Sometimes, just because we're there, they need protecting. Just our presence there. What I'm saying is he
No,
shouldn't...
actually, could you please go back? Explain that statement again. Gosh.
Yonan, we're wanted. All of us for various reasons. The Empire knows our face. Do you realize how many spies are out there? Them just seeing us walking through a street puts a target on your family. You just being around them, them seeing you in the streets, could potentially send spies, assassins after them because they want to get to you. The more that you're around your family, the more you're putting them in danger because you are you and we're doing what we're doing.
They were already in danger, Akash. They were already in bloody danger because of what my father was, because he was who he was.
And you're cool with putting them in more just because you selfishly want to protect them.
Yes, Akash, I think you've identified the problem. I very selfishly want to help everyone I can.
Your family. Not everyone. Quotations, your family. Your family is what is important to you. You could care less about everyone else because you've shown little to no remorse for everyone else.
You and fuck you, fuck that fancy Prince Ponce that raised you so poorly, Mr. General, whatever the fuck his name is, General Anagram McPrinceling. Fuck the Empire. Fuck all those folks that fought with you on the base, and fuck your talking sword. I ran through streets of bloody fire looking for a healing potion because I saw a pregnant woman that was about to die, and I said to myself, I will not let this happen.
And how does protecting your family protect the city? How does protecting getting your family out of prison? How does helping Bellcat not have a drunken one-nighter with some whore protect the nation against the Empire?
Protecting the Empire... No, got that backwards. Stopping the Empire. Protecting the city. That's how I protect my family. My family is what motivates me. My family is what gives me the strength to go up and face the absolutely mind-fuckingly terrifying odds of this fight.
Then you need to treat it that way. From here on out, you need to put your family as the secondary. We do our mission and then you can see them. But how it's been, that has been the primary mission that we've been doing. If you want to protect them the best, do our mission and then you can do whatever the fuck you want with them. I don't care. But if you're going to lead this group, if you're going to open your mouth, if you're going to bullshit, lie, I don't care. Your motives need to be clear. The mission needs to be clear. We need to know what we're doing and where we stand. And you're not being entirely honest with us. If you're going to protect your family before us, say there was like a burning fire and Sushi was between Sushi and Becca. If you had to choose to save someone and you could only save one person, Who would it be?
Well, then I'd be in a
Becca.
bit of a... Shut up, Sushi.
My point. It's fine to love your family and want to protect them. But at war, it's a weakness that's going to get you and us killed way before we can make a difference.
Weakness. Weakness.
What do you suggest, Akash? You seem knowledgeable on this stuff.
There's a way to protect your family and still watch over them without inherently putting them in danger, without us going out of our way. Every decision that you have led us into has been with the motivation of your family, regardless of we're here because Becca, or who's saving whoever. I don't even fucking know. There's so many of you. Every place we go, we meet another one of your family. And you just go off and just keep talking and talking. You never shut up. You insert yourself into every conversation. But do you really listen? If you're going to be someone who is so knowledgeable, so strategic, you can't just be looking out for your family. You need to actually, how can I trust you to make sure that you have our best intentions in mind? If we're in a fucking battle with whoever, how can I trust you to know that if between us and your family, would you protect us? Or would you run off like a little bitch to protect your family? We need to know that we can have each other's backs in this. And right now, I truly doubt your intentions here.
Y'all are running in circles.
Okay.
Aye. That we are. And so I will remove myself from this conversation so the three of you can have it out. So Yonan's gonna get up.
You need to leave, Yonan. And he just says that. You don't belong here. If you're gonna protect your family, get the fuck out of this group. Go back and protect them. Do whatever you want, but you don't belong in war at this point. You're just gonna fucking
See,
get us
now,
killed.
that's a problem. That's a bit of a problem. Because even though you're being a complete arsehole right now, Akash, even though you've done everything to cut me to me bone, there's one thing you can't say right now that'll change one simple fact.
We're always gonna be stuck with you like you're a parasite.
Of course you fucking are. Because guess what, Akash? And goes over, sort of punches you on your muscular leg. You and Sushi and Alphadon, you're my family now too. And he's gonna leave.
I love it.
As Yonan leaves, I know that was a very tense conversation that likely has to continue, but I think that's a spot where we're going to take a quick break. That's I need to run the bathroom and stuff. And for everyone that's watching online, I know it's very tense. Trust us, we are friends.
No, I hate
IRL.
all of
Oh,
these.
okay.
fuck yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
Go fuck yourself.
was very heated.
Jax, your glasses are stupid.
Max's glasses are stupid.
I don't know.
Gax just found a pair of spectacles
If
the...
Gax needed glasses, he would have to buy them like every day, just the amount of times he gets hit.
I
Yeah.
imagine they'd be like little reading glasses, like really tiny.
Just like
like Badger from Wind to the Willows.
Yes. Also,
Ugh,
I
Little
hope that was
Nespins.
okay.
that's
No,
okay.
that was great.
Yeah, that was
that
alright.
was
That's cool.
no I didn't plan that ending, but
That
damn.
was yeah. I didn't know what was gonna go there. For everyone, we'll come back shortly after break. I'm sure we'll show you some stuff. So see you soon.
yeah.
And for anyone else, if you just want to reiterate, if anyone does want to like talk to me personally, if anything went over the line or anything going forward, just shoot me a message. We can talk over break quick. I just want to make sure we're all good there.
Yep, this will safe space.
Yes, safe space, but I need to piss so bad.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Out of character. Am I talking too much?
No, you're
Not really.
you're fine. This is just
Yeah, no, Akash is. I tried to like research and try to think in terms of like an ex-soldier what he would be annoyed at, and I hope I got it somewhat accurate. I don't know. I read it by my partner who was in the military.
Ex-soldier working with civilian volunteers.
So. Yes.
It's like
and
that,
being led by the civilian volunteers is just like, why are we doing this?
It's like, did anyone here see that movie that came out like a year and a half ago?
Seasons change all the time in the world of Atura. Spring blooms into life. Summer flourishes. Fall's harvests descend into a sleeping winter. And completing the cycle awakens into spring. However, on the continent of Leyora, a different season is descending upon its nations. There's a heaviness that you cannot quite place, an unspoken tension weighing on the minds of the people. Soldiers can be seen in training. The clanging of weapons being forged can be heard across the land. Discussions in quiet halls dictate the fates of many. Peace has no place here, for what is approaching is the season of war.
Welcome back from break, everyone, as we find the Plumbers in the middle of a heated discussion revolving around war, choices, family, and, well, the stakes at hand. As Yonan is making his way out of the room, we will come back to you in a sec here, Speed. But as he makes his way out, does anyone have anything to say?
Eggs and bacon.
I think Sushi would run up to him and whisper into his ear, I'm honored to be part of your family. And it just kind of walks away, like walks back to the main room next to Alphadon.
Right as Yonan is heading out, Sushi whispers that.
And I will make my way out.
Mm-hmm. The rest of you inside. Truly feeling the tenseness of the silence that follows that. Oh.
Akash, that deal about family. Remember the children of Orishan.
And he kind of turns his head from like where Yonan was exiting and looks back at you. And he's like, yeah, what about them?
That feeling you had when you were traveling with them, with that community, that feeling is family, or part of what being a family is.
And he kind of just he talks and stops for a minute. And he's like, I know what that feeling is. I'll put on. The point of the conversation was more so trying to just get him to see that he's just endangering more people with his decisions, but... And he kind of just sighs and kind of like untenses for a second, because it was like just a very like heated conversation. But You saw what happened to them. With the stuff that we're going to be dealing with, the Aboleth is just the beginning.
Yes,
we can't.
but I
I have a question. I heard a lot of discussion about you guys coming back to save. What was it, Becca? Where the fuck were you guys during that fight?
Point of order, it was Delphina.
You're gone.
Delphina McPherson.
You're
Sorry?
gone.
You hear the disembodied voice in your head.
There was a separate issue there.
Was that the fight where I was off getting booty call?
No,
Or was-
so the when you guys came, when you're rushing to Seawards Port because you got word that they moved up this execution,
Yes.
you were rushing there.
we were on the
You
edge
guys
of the
took on
city.
exhaustion to get there. You guys were too late. It was basically impossible for you all to get there on time. But the Shadow Band, the leader being El Capitan, took it upon himself to save her regardless. And in that fight, Gax was a part of. So you guys actually weren't there to save her, even though you tried to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were rushing to get there as fast as we could, but we arrived at the city hours too late.
Yeah, I was.
Because
I
we
knew
got
about the
drunk in the village
arriving
of
late.
hobbits.
Yeah, I know about the arriving late part.
We like to make an entrance. Us, the plumbers, do.
Yeah, that's not an entrance.
It's an absence. He just kind of pipes up from where he's standing.
You know, through all this conversation you guys have had, I'm gonna bring it back to the part that I stuck my neck out for you guys multiple times, and apparently both you guys didn't think to fill me in on what was happening, and second off, apparently you guys don't even know what you guys are fucking doing to begin with. So I would like an explanation, but secondarily, I think you guys need to get one.
So where do you want us to start?
Well, I'm not the one holding the cards now, am I? Where do you think would be the best to start?
Well, we all
Start at the.
the beginning,
sorry, go on.
yes. I was to say, well, we all met up in Barracksword. Me and Sushi were traveling together, and we ran into Yonan at a tavern. We were all called through the network of the, not Larks. What are you guys called? He turns to.
The joint and you were called through the. Oh, you're talking about Akasha's network.
Yes.
They're called the Songbirds, and you met
Songbirds.
the Loon in Brightshore, and that's where you got your mission, basically.
Yes. We were sent by the king of Eagle's March down to Brightshore to meet with the Loon, which is a member of the Songbirds, part of Akasha's organization. Because there was a problem that the Joint Insurgent, which is the rebel group based out of Barracksword, needed some help with.
So you guys came together, found each other, and then just became rebels.
Well, Sushi has been fighting in this war for quite a while, actually. And I've been in the background trying to protect her. And in the process, have got involved in this.
Yeah,
But
actually, side thing. He just kind of like points to Sushi, just like not even finding the words.
What's Sushi doing right now? Billy?
She would just be kind of, how do I say, sitting there twisting their foot on the ground, looking all mischievous, like with a bit of a devilish smile, looking back at Gax.
What are we doing here?
She is an adult. Technically.
Yes, technically.
I don't think this is the exact time to go into our entire life story.
Probably not.
But suffice
Why
to
does
say,
everyone keep questioning that?
Sushi was involved with a large organization known as the
Legion of the Mythic Dawn.
the Legion of the Mythic Dawn, and they do a lot of work for Eagle's March. But she met up with the king, and he gave her this assignment, separate from them. I think she was looking to. You could ask her for more details. I actually heard about the meeting secondhand, but the point is, we met up in Barracksword, and then Akash, being a member of the Songbirds, met up with us at the location. There was a what are they called? A hemo lab, some blood sorcery going on. Of course, that's all illegal in the Empire, except for when they do it, of course.
He kind of looks over to Nelsa as they talk about blood sorcery. Same thing, or
She raises an eyebrow at you with almost like a somewhat knowing. Then she reaches out. So you all met up in Barracksword. Found a secret lab.
We broke in, killed the. Well, I snuck in because I was a barrel at the time, so it's
A
not hard.
hungry barrel.
Not hard to guess. Oh, that's right. You didn't make.
What happened in Barracksword? Why do they want you?
So I'll cut to the chase. We attacked the lab, killed the wizard slash leader, and then met up with the joint insurgents and broke into the prison, the undersea prison, freed a whole bunch of prisoners, including like 7 or 8 of Yonin's family, and in the process, half the city burned down. There was the Greyhawks set up a distraction that got out of hand.
Basically a failed mission.
It did not go as stealthily as planned, but we did get the people we wanted out of there, or the majority of the people out of there. We got out Huskier D, who was a spy of the Empire, and other people.
A lot of innocent people died during that night that wasn't even involved in this war.
That is true. That's
okay. I get that. Trust me, I do.
The point is that that is how the Plumbers were formed. We banded together to stop this tyranny in Barracksword.
And then it just spiraled out of control from there.
We got orders to do another thing and another thing.
Yeah, that's normally how it goes.
Yep.
Listen. I get it. Trust me, I do. I'm from a place where the Empire fucks with us a lot. But That's my home. This is yours. I don't know if I can go out and just fight in another war. I'm getting old.
You don't have to. If you want to take this as your out, go.
I'm just trying to connect the pieces to try and find a reason for me to stay.
Nelsa walks across, sort of behind the couch where Alphadon's sitting, and over towards where you are, where near like where the food was, where you're standing a little bit away from everyone. You've approached a little bit from there, but as she walks towards, she goes, "This time you find a reason within yourself. Gax, what do you believe in?"
Nelsa.
Don't Nelsa me.
Master.
You don't have to say master either. You're your own man. Time to figure out... God damn it, you're old. It's time to figure out what you stand for. And if it's just a place, the futile ground beneath your feet, the sands of Shady Sands, sure, that's it. That seems like a shallow way to live. And I thought better of my apprentice.
Oh, she's guilted, damn.
Gax just...
It doesn't have to be the rebellion. But I'd thought you, of all people, would watch out for the folks that are the runt of the litter in the Empire. Of anywhere. I need some fresh air. She's gonna walk out towards where Yoda walked.
Okay. Akash looks to Gax and then looks to Alphadon. And he walks over. Do you have a spell that can make illusions?
Yes, I do. And he'll start casting minor illusion.
Okay. He's going to tell you in your ear what to do, and I'm just going to message you it.
Okay.
And then you describe what shows up on the illusion.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Grab my phone.
While you're messaging that, Gax, how are you feeling right now? Angry, I'm guessing.
There's a lot of things going through his mind. First off, obviously this is a lot of stuff that he just didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Second off, now he has to be a part of this, or he's, feeling like he has to be a part of this, and
You're feeling forced, like you already have been forced into a situation you didn't know existed.
Yeah, and secondarily, he said it before, he's getting old. He's already starting to slow down. He doesn't know how much steam he's got left in him. A lot of the reason why he drinks is because it hurts,
Physical pain.
Yeah. So, he doesn't... If he keeps training the way he does, especially because he drinks, something's gonna give out,
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how much he can give if he just keeps going the way he's going. He doesn't know what to do. Because it's not like he just wants to leave, obviously, because he came back to help for a reason, but it's become bigger than that, and he knows that he's not really up to the task physically.
Okay. So Alphadon will conjure up...
Well, not yet. He'll give the...
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Okay. But he's kind of also asking permission if he can do this, because since you're like the parental figure, he respects that.
I don't see anything wrong with doing this. Just like now, I'm asking, should I ask? Should I feel bad about doing this?
Oh no, not the existential crisis of dadness again.
Oh boy.
Okay. So at this point, he kind of looks over at Gax too and kind of just nods. Then he goes over. He'll walk over to where Sushi is. Sushi, can you come up and take a seat?
Why?
I just want to talk to you for a minute.
We're talking.
It makes it a little easier if you could. Can you play along?
All right. She just walks over and hops on the thing, stands on the chair, but doesn't sit.
Sushi,
Kosh.
why are you here?
Oh no.
Because the king sent me. And I gotta take care of him. He's kind of hard to keep up with. She looks over at Alphadon.
Okay, so you're under someone told you to be here.
Who else is gonna take care of him? He's kind of a wild child, you know.
Is he talking about Alphadon?
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like, yep. He kind of just like, yep. And he kind of just pauses for a minute, not sure how to like talk about this. Sushi, are you just here to make sure Alphadon's all right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the king told you?
No.
Then what are you doing here?
I'm helping.
But why?
Why wouldn't I?
As it's dangerous. Do you want to be here?
There's a lot more other dangerous places around the world, you know.
Yeah. You could be anywhere, but you chose to be here with Alphadon, helping
we can
us.
help more people here.
And he kind of just smiles a bit because it's like the intentions are earnest and like he respects the honesty. You do realize how dangerous it is, though, Sushi, right?
Mm-hmm.
That being here, you could die.
You can die anywhere, Kosh.
Huh? And you're okay being here and dying for this cause?
I'm not dying for the cause. I don't really care about the cause. I just want to stop the suffering.
And he kind of just pauses at that. Sushi, in the future and now, we're going to have things we have to do for a cause to protect people. Are you going to be able to work with us to be able to do that?
I think so.
Then you need to care. Because having a cause or having a reason to do what you do will help. It motivates you.
But I have
What we're
a
doing
reason.
protects people.
I do protect people.
And then he sighs a little bit. You do. You protect your friends.
When I can.
How would you describe a friend, Sushi?
Someone who's there for you.
When we were in the prison, you healed that one keeper? I think they were called keepers
Mm-hmm.
back then.
He's my friend.
And then he kind of looks over to Alphadon really quick and like nods.
Althadon summons a minor illusion of could be like a scary guy in a mask, pretty much. Like a sort of white colored mask. I don't know if I did a good job describing it. Yes.
Yes, the keepers of the damned who have these well, may not be represented perfectly in the image, but they have different sorts of opaque masks that they wore that are depicts of different creatures of sorts. Again, for you, Rez, and anyone else watching, keepers of the damned were the guards of the prison, of the undersea prison, but they worshipped a deity that was related to keeping things imprisoned, and they never spoke. They only did so telepathically.
They were from the under part of the prison.
Weren't they raised for that?
You guys
purpose or
don't
something
know.
Like that?
You don't know.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a still image of that keeper who was injured and Sushi healing them.
And then at that point, Akasha's going to interject quickly. Sushi.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything is your friend.
But it felt like he didn't know any better. Like, didn't know anything else. I wanted to show him something else.
And then he looks over at Alphadon to kind of continue.
He's going to pause there and interject one thing. The people we're fighting are rarely our friends, Sushi. Then he'll summon the picture that you asked about, which would be that same keeper now stabbing Althadon in the chest.
What does Sushi do seeing that?
A bit of a tear, and she goes like, "No!" As she like hits the image to try
Just
to
swipes
make
through.
it go away.
Yeah.
Sushi,
Doesn't go away.
the people you're healing are the people trying to kill us. And that very person you tried to heal, who you called a friend, could do that to Alphadon.
Yes, it's possible.
There have been people who we have been able to move to our side who could have very well killed us. So I won't.
The way I see it is, I don't want to treat them the way they treat us. I want to be better. I want to be different.
Yes, but you got to be careful about that.
You're putting our lives in danger, Sushi.
Our lives are already in danger.
Your actions have consequences. And you're very selfish to just go and heal whoever you want. Because you
life
want
is
to
worth
treat them
it.
well. You need to think about, and he pauses for a second, the herd. If you want to protect the herd, and potentially make friends,
You can never protect the herd by allowing one to be sacrificed. You have to protect all members of the herd, even the weakest on the outskirts. And if you lose a member of the herd, you're out there until you find them.
and those people are not part of our herd. They're trying to hurt us. You need to be careful on who you consider part of the herd. Healing anyone or protecting and deciding people are your friends are just going to lead to us dying.
I
Way
expect
before we can
wolves
do
in
anything.
sheep's clothing. I can't stop that. That'll happen no matter what I do.
But you can stop healing the enemy.
I don't heal all of them.
No, but it only takes one person to decide to just stab you through the chest, Alphadon, Yonin, me. You're not thinking like being a part of a herd.
Well, that's because I'm more of a shepherd.
I think perhaps a compromise in what you're asking there, Akash. Prioritize healing us and the people that these people hurt. Use your healing on them. There's the people they hurt that could need it more.
Yes. If you really want to help people, help the ones that are hurting.
I help the ones in need.
They're not in need.
They have been after we're done with them sometimes.
That one, the keeper, was.
And then he looks over at you, Alphadon, and he's just like... And he kind of just pauses for a minute and he's getting frustrated. It's like, you just don't get it. All of us are just out for our own motives. We're supposed to be fighting like we're in a group, like we're part of a team that can protect each other and trust each other. But none of us are actually trying to work together here. We have Yonin running his fucking mouth without telling us anything or informing us of what he wants to do. Sushi is unbridled chaos and is literally going to get us killed one of these days.
Well,
and refuses to see any sort of semblance of reality beyond her own. If we're going to...
This fighting has changed Sushi.
I haven't been in the surface world for long, you know. A lot of this stuff's still new to me. I'm trying.
Yes, Akash. Our teamwork could use some work. Just put it lightly. But you're not in the army anymore. Yes, we are fighting in what very well is a war, but this is not a battlefield. This is... You just say, we're civilians here.
I get that. I do. I've been a little harsh. Though Yonin deserved it. Yonin, that's been a long time coming. But
I don't think he deserved all of that, but he definitely deserved something.
hey, it was either that or a punch in the face. You know, I didn't want to bring it. But
as this conversation, we'll return in just a second. Gax, you sat there hearing this stewing within yourself, and we will touch on you too, Leon, and appreciate your patience. But as you're stewing
No
within
problem. I'm just enjoying the RP.
Absolutely, me too, man. I don't have to do shit this session. This is great. You're stewing within yourself, and as you are thinking and looking internally, for the most part, you find a void of your own making, a void of using drink to numb the physical pain that you feel very much in your body right now too, but also the emotion. Life is full of regrets, no matter which way you slice it. And sometimes we look at them, sometimes we shove them down, and you spent a lot of time shoving them down. And as you look deeper, You think back to that feeling after that long day, the first of the longest days of your life, in the fight for Shady Sands. When you're sitting, leaning up against that tree, wounded to fucking hell, after fighting creatures of the forest, the stone member of the 1,000 of the elementals that was attacking. And just as tired, but much more powerful and higher level than you, sat this tiny little woman who didn't say a word at first, just passed you the flask. And yeah, you were sore, but you had something to believe in then. And I ask in this moment, as actively, since you made a point out of separating the we that they were using from you, I, Jack, have noticed that they have stopped doing that. Akash just said, Sushi, Alphadon, and Yonan and myself didn't mention you. So I ask in this moment, what is Gax feeling, and does he find that spark?
Akash, may I say something?
Go ahead.
You and I obviously both come from a background of war. You seemingly a little bit higher on the rung, but still. You have to realize something. You're talking to a man trying to protect his family, someone who doesn't understand the world because it's not what they knew, and a guy just trying to protect someone that he cares about. And an old man. Althadon is right. You're taking this too far. But that's all you knew. There's a lot of work to go around. But talking to each other the way you're talking to everyone right now isn't gonna help anything. These people don't know the world we come from. But in all honesty, we don't know where they come from either. So just pushing that aside and trying to force them into line isn't going to help anything. You say that you want us to work together as a team, but all you've been doing is the other extreme to what Yonan has. We need to find something of a common ground. In all honesty, we're dysfunctional, but we need each other. Because unfortunately, we're in this shit. And I said I was old, and I am. But that doesn't mean I'm just gonna turn my back on people in need. I just have to find a way to help with your help. And Alphadon's. And Sushi and Yona's. Same for you.
I heard my name.
As you're cut short, that spark turning into a flame of anger a little bit there.
He always
Um,
has to.
Gax, you gain the rebellion spirit feat, but please go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes, Yonan. I said you. But that also goes same for you. You need to start listening to us just as much as we need to start listening to you. This is a group effort. Everyone has what they want. everyone has what they want to protect, and everyone has their own motivation for why they're here. And unfortunately, we're stuck with that. But that doesn't mean that it should just be pushed aside and forgotten. Just as much as what we're here for can't be pushed aside and forgotten. It's a tight, difficult balance. But we gotta remember, we're a group of bastards that are trying to fight a war, not a battalion of soldiers. There's gonna be problems that comes with that. But we gotta face those problems just as much as we gotta face those victories.
Finally, someone who could describe what I'm trying to say.
Gax,
Yes, Sushi.
what is your motivation? You're not going to leave us, are you?
No, Sushi. My motivation is the same motivation it's been whenever I was defending my home. My motivation is good people. The ones who you can break bread with and not be scared that they're gonna pull a knife out on you. And there's a
I
lot of
think
people
he's
like
saying
that
no,
in the
guys.
world.
You better not leave.
Sushi,
Because
I
you
just
know
said,
all those things you described is not us. You know I'm going to pull a knife on you.
Yes, I do. But unfortunately, that's just something I'm gonna have to deal with.
Okay, just warning you. She just kind of slowly goes up to you and gives you a little like hug on your furry leg or pant or whatever it is.
Yeah, he just
Sushi
pats you on the back.
did poison Yonin the first time they met.
Oh, don't worry about that.
A cautious. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, continue. Therapy is more important.
I was just Akash kind of sighs and looks up at you. And he kind of just like rubbed, like his hand kind of like goes on his temple ish. Dragon, I don't know, biology.
You have a temple.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I was just like, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but you were being an asshole about it.
And he like just kind of just pauses. Sorry.
It's okay.
And just oh,
it's very, very trying time. We are in war.
I just don't want to see this group go down the same way as I've seen so many other groups that I've either led or been a part of.
Or destroyed.
Yeah. And right now, none of us talk. I don't know relatively anything about Yonin besides the fact that we go off and do these things. There's nothing. And Sushi.
Mm-hmm.
There's a word that I want you to learn, and he looks at Alphadon. Compromise. You don't have to pull a knife out, but we can talk about that as time comes. And he kind of grits his teeth. Patience. And he sighs again. After fighting the Aboleth and seeing what happened to Nelsa, and then getting some superpower, and then her coming back, and all of that, there's a lot more than just the war that's happening. And if we can't trust each other, if we don't know what's going on with each other, it's going to get us killed. We need to work together.
open communication is key, and we have not been forthright with what we want.
Yeah. We can't let Yonan make all of the decisions and talk for us. We can't let me just be the muscle. Everyone needs to have an input in this. If we're gonna survive at this point, I'm not trying to lead you like a group of soldiers. I'm just not good at being soft.
We all have things we can work on. I, for one, could stand up more and input my ideas more.
Yes, we could
Gotten
use
kind
that
of
brain.
passive
Not the
from
brain Yonan pretends
lying
to have.
around. No,
Pretends. Pretends.
I want you to know, and we
Yes.
are going to cut to this whole time since Nelson's walked out there. It's been her and Yonan. She pulled out a cigarette and lit it for him and been smoking. It's been the like, oh,
He's
Gex.
doing it
Oh,
on
he'll
purpose.
come around. I laid the seeds.
I'm
But
perfect. I'm fine.
He's
I'm
being
just a little bit
petty on
old.
purpose.
absolutely. I will say, as Gax, you had that moment through that speech. You gained the rebellion spirit feat feature. It's not as strong as like the actual like feat is, but it's just a little bonus that everyone else has and hadn't given to your character beforehand. Which is once per dawn, you can use one of the following abilities. You can re-roll any roll that you make as a free action, or an attack roll that's made against your character, even after learning the outcome. You use whatever roll is more beneficial to you. So, like, if it's like a skill check and you try to re-roll and it's lower, you still can take the first one that's higher. Alternatively, if you are within half of your movement of an ally that is taking damage from an attack, you can choose to use your reaction to move and take that damage for them instead.
Okay.
And the last one is before making the roll, you can add a +5 to a charisma check that is related to the rebellion in any way. If you can tie it even loosely, that'll work. And I can copy and send it to you over there after, so we can add it to your character sheet and all that. But as that spark is lit within you once more, that is sort of how you find yourself. But briefly, we are going to flash out to Yonan. You just stepped outside. Sushi just whispered and said, I'm proud to be a part of your family. As you step outside to the, honestly, morning air of Waterworld, it smells like salty sea, and there's honking of like seagulls all around. It's like this is a conversation that feels like it should have been had at like 8 p.m., but it's just 7:45 in the morning. So you kind of
Yep.
walk out to that harsh reality, and I ask, because there's a minute or so where Yonan's just by himself sitting out there before Nelson joins. What's going through his mind?
Just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with Akash, because Yonan just saw a ghost of his dead mom less than 24 hours ago, and seems like his friends are the ones struggling to hold it together. He's just, replaying the events of the last day in his head over and over.
A lot of events. As you're doing that, seagull sort of flies up on the perch as you're outside of the like condo, but it has like a porch that wraps around. You're sitting there. Eventually, pretty quietly, you just hear a match from right behind you, and you turn around to see Nelson's lit a cigarette, pass it over to you.
I don't partake.
It's just tobacco.
Don't partake in that either.
Well, guess I'll save one for myself. Don't tell Gax this, but I'm not perfect.
I had a smartass comment, but I
would have been fine hearing it.
I'm getting the sense I need to be making less of those.
Something to be said about timing, I guess. Gax might be younger than you, but he's had a long life. A lot happened. Quick succession. If you catch my drift.
You'd think that all those things happening in quick succession would give him a mite bit more empathy.
Well, not everyone can be like Sushi.
Thank the gods for that.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to say anything, but really making, in a lot of ways, doing a lot of favors for Goblinkin as a kind, and in others, just not.
It's very. I don't get to work with a lot of goblins. There's not too many down this far south. So having someone around to sort of act as a point of comparison really drives it home. She's not like other goblins, is she?
Every different sort of person that you can group up into any sort of way can get a bad rap for any sort of thing. Can't judge the individual by the masses or their perception of them. Like you, Yonan McPherson. You're a bad man, you know that, right?
I, my more
You
fleeting
also know you
moments
have
of
a good
self-aware.
heart. You also know you have a good heart, right?
Yonan doesn't make eye contact with her. He's just looking out into over the horizon.
Staring over at you. Look at me.
Looks at her.
You have a good heart.
I fucking hope so.
Fights like these, Yonan. No one wants to admit it. But to win them, they need bad men.
I know that. I know it's what I signed up for.
It's best to be a bad man when you need to be, and to use your good heart when you can. But I'll tell you this. Both sides are constantly fighting to take over the other. It's up to you to decide who wins.
Past couple days, I can't really tell which side of me is the bad man and which one's the good heart. Take my cousin Bellcat, for example. He's a shite person.
I have no context as to who this Bellcat is.
Oh, right.
I've been
You were
asleep
sleeping.
because I died 12 hours ago.
Right, you're doing quite well for somebody who is...
I'm barely holding on, truly putting on everything into the exterior. This cigarette, I swore to myself I was going to quit. She pauses for a second. She turns over, looks through the window, and sees Gax in the middle of his speech. Right, and soon here, Yonan, is when you're going to shout that you heard your name. She looks back at the cigarette and flicks it off the edge. Keeping up appearances, but I'm not doing well. You weren't either. You saw your mom. And no one even... You haven't even talked about it.
I was going to talk about it with my cousin that I met the other night. All there was to talk about was his problems that he made my problems, and his problems that, well, I made our problems.
Yeah?
Ah, that hurt. That fucking hurt.
She is gonna kind of cautiously take a step forward and just hug you. Not, like, tightly, but not, like, super loose either. And there might be a moment where you resist a little bit, but she holds it for a little bit longer.
Yonan sort of makes his body limp, not because he's not comfortable with this, because he's afraid of hurting her, because she's bandaged to shit and probably still sore.
Yeah, I mean, she was impaled on a stalactite like 12 hours ago after being stabbed by an aboleth like several times. She's not doing great,
Yeah.
but you are learning maybe that the woman who tried to help make Gax who he is will put everything with herself aside for people that need it or matter. Oh, well, enough of that. My esteemed apprentice, who is not very good at words, is giving the speech of his life right now. You want to listen in?
You're... Forgive me for saying so, but you seem a lot like me. In the manner.
Well, I didn't come out here to be insulted.
I meant you're willing to put your whole self on the line for someone else. And never thought I'd see that. Member of royalty.
I haven't truly been a member of royalty since that day long ago. But what else is there in life, except for the things that you're willing to put everything on the line for? And what could be a more beautifully complicated but real thing to put yourself on the line for than other people? People you love. You didn't have to say what you said before you left, but you did. And that went a hell of a lot longer of a way than, well, all the other shite you said beforehand. You all are family. A fucked up one, but
Is there any other kind?
not in my experience. I was framed for murdering my father when I was like a child.
You ever get back at the fuckers that did that?
Yes and no. That's at this point where you hear your name being mentioned. You shout back in there,
I heard
Yonan.
my name.
As we return to the inside of the room, is there other conversation that needs to be finished up?
Jack said what he needed to say.
Akash?
I'm trying to remember what the last thing I said was.
Just shitting on Yonan.
You guys, yeah, it devolved into you guys sort of like there's, the conversations that you had and Gax's speech and then talking about, you're not like soldiers, you're not in a battalion, stuff like that. And then it sort of devolved to ease the comfort levels into, well, yeah, shitting on Yonan. And
Right. Well, I think I'm gonna finally try and figure out how I can be of use. Because I have a lot of things to work on when it comes to trying to keep up with you all. I'm getting slow. I'm
He
getting
kind of
slow.
pipes.
Why are you
Stop.
getting slow?
We're old, Sushi.
We're old.
You don't look that old to me.
I would lay off the alcohol a bit, though.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that.
And he also looks over at Sushi, too. Y'all,
What did I do?
drink with the group in safety.
Oh, where did Stick go?
Don't worry about him. Either way, Akash, you seem to be getting a little bit well, help from the other side. You seem to have been getting faster this past day. What's your
Wish I knew.
secret? You got like a cream or
He kind of just looks over and he's like, I don't really know. That's part of what I'm trying to figure out. But the whole going back to all of this, this aboleth was just the first of many, many fights we're probably going to be a part of. We're nowhere near ready to actually take on the military and the Empire.
Well, that's pretty obvious.
We got to train together. We need to get our act together, at least to some point. Just so we don't die. We should take after Alphadon. And he just looks over and he just smirks.
I don't know if I could be that quiet. Or that sober.
I just said that I need to work on speaking up, so I don't know.
We could trade, you know.
But
So at this juncture, Nelsa will nod her head towards you, Yonan, as if, like, you want to head back inside now?
Yes, Yonan will head back inside.
Alright.
at any rate, welcome to the Plumbers. He just puts his hand out to.
Still haven't explained why your name is that.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's because we get the shit jobs.
Actually, I'm good. I'll just leave now.
Actually, it's because when we were sneaking into the city, we pretended to be a plumbing company, Stonefist and Sons Plumbers.
And Circus.
You can't get a fucking single name right, but you remember that from like the 6th episode of this game?
I don't know why you're surprised at this point.
That is the most important fact that defines our group, man.
Oh, that's so good.
Eventually, we're gonna find a business that's called that. Eventually, we're gonna actually find a real
Stone's Head?
business. Yes.
Stonefist and Sons Plumbing and Circus.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
sorry, I forgot about that. Plumbing and circus, because sushi reasons. As you guys, have a brief, more relaxed moments of conversation, the rest of you get very, very tired, and you receive a letter saying, "We will be ready to return later this evening." However, you do barely have enough time. It'll be like 6 hours of sleep, but it'll effectively
We
give you a
can
full
sleep
rest.
on the teleporting ship a little. I mean, how long does it take to...
Not much.
To
It's pretty
teleport?
much instant.
Yeah.
6 seconds.
Oh, so... Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, an hour of
Okay, 30
downtime.
seconds.
An hour of downtime. Sorry, an hour of long rest is actually downtime that you can do other stuff. So, yeah, yeah.
Anyways, the rest of you were able to get a long rest, and I'll say Alphadon and Akash, if there's any things you guys wanted to do briefly, we can maybe cover that at the top of next episode, because I know we do have a hard cutoff here shortly for a couple of our members. So, you guys are able to get your long rest as you need to. You wake up later in the evening. I would say you fall asleep at like 8:30 in the morning, so it would be like 2:30 when you wake up or so, like about 6 hours of sleep. So if there's stuff that you guys wanted to have done, or just honestly relax and chill out for a second, Alphadon and Akash, you can. But I'll say, as you're collected by Martina Troubadour and the rest of the crew of the Misty Escape, you exit Waterworld, sailing out, and eventually do the teleportation move. Which would be about, this would be probably at about 5 p.m. because you guys have to make your way to like where the ship is and stuff like that. As you surge beneath the waves and come up in the familiar sight that is Seawards Port, in the ways out of the city, because you have to sail into the harbor and pretend, to be whomever, as you all hide below deck for a moment as you're getting your way in. Martina is good enough at talking and has enough connections where she's able to get you guys in. But what I will say is, as you're cruising in, I would like all of you to roll perception checks for me.
Ooh, I can do that.
Okay.
Let me see here. I don't have disadvantage.
21 for Sushi.
Perception. Oh yes, this is
13. Not great.
this is Alphadon
Ooh,
specialty.
nice one there, Yonan.
God
Nat
damn.
20.
Not
Still a
20.
little, still a
And
little
all
sleepy
fun.
on my end.
Yeah.
This is interesting because I feel like, Akash, you're thinking back to a time where you were stuck in the hull of a ship sailing into a city, knowing that there's going to be conflict there. So you're a bit,
Reminiscing.
you're not even paying attention to this, yeah, because you're reminiscing. Gax, you can hear this in a muffled manner. The rest of you guys hear this exactly, as it is playing out on whatever sort of like magical speakers that pop out of the poles in the harbor. But they've done it in a sickly way where they've put these speakers in the mouths of the people that they have basically attached to the crosses on these poles. That these people are now dead, but they shoved these speakers into their mouths so that it appears like the sound is coming from all these bodies.
Ooh.
Akash Lumaroth, former captain in our glorious army, the famed flame of the basin. Like you, I came from scraps, and through my efficiency and prowess made a name for myself. I studied strategy tirelessly, yet I always came back to the one who never lost. The sole true soldier's leader, whose tactics, when employed by themselves, as in you, have never failed. In no small way am I who I am today because of your inspiration. So turn yourself in. Return to the hero of the Empire that street kids like me could look up to. Turn yourself in. Tell us about the rebels, so we can bring unity and peace to this troubled city. I will personally ensure you, nor any of the younger siblings of the McPherson family, will meet the death penalty. After all, I was a street kid myself. Anything else and I will employ the tactics that you used against Calridge McAllister in the Harefoot Basin. I think you know to what I am referring to. But even if that is the route you wish to take, as my hero, I offer you one last privilege. A duel. The Flame of the Basin versus the Ram of Roxford. Oh, what an epic chapter of history that could be. Anyway, if you win, I give you your Brea. But, just turn yourself in. Be the man that the Empire needs you to be. Be the man that you were. Wake up from the sickness of rebellion and realize that there's only one truth and one way out. I await your response. Till then, goodbye, my childhood hero.
There is context to that I can send you after the session here, Autumn, for some of the specifics there.
Okay.
But as you all hear this, well, I guess as Althadon, Yonan, and Sushi hear this clearly, and Akash is obviously just staring, lost in thought. Gax, you hear like the muffled part coming through. Your age is showing in this moment.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, he's kind of making a lot of sense. Maybe we should turn sides.
How do the three of you react hearing this?
Well, Akash has disclosed a lot of what has happened in the past, that he used to be a soldier, so it's not a surprise in that manner. But can we see where the bodies are, and like?
So you guys you're underneath in the hull of the ship.
There's no like cannon.
You could try to peek
portholes?
through. Yeah, so the bodies are basically there's these pillars that come out of the water in the harbor, right? Roughly like that thick, and then attached to them are two planks that are X-shaped, so that they can nail people to that with their arms out. Sometimes burning them, sometimes leaving them to be, but the bodies are, I mean, they're dead now.
Yeah, just do we recognize them?
Give me a perception check, Alfredo.
Just did.
With disadvantage. Oh, you rolled a natural 20. I will let that ride.
Okay.
You don't. You don't
know.
recognize them. These are just innocent people, probably.
Who the hell is Amash?
Sushi, Yonan?
They seem to know a lot about us.
Aye, they do. They do.
Who do you think they got the information from?
Probably from this Amash fellow.
Who's Amash?
That's what I'm asking.
Maj, what? What were you listening to?
What?
And Althadon would it's on repeat, right?
Yeah, it's on cycle. So eventually you guys are going to hear this as
Yeah.
you like get into the skiff to
Yeah.
head in.
When I
Basically
noticed...
what's happening is you're all hiding in crates. They're pretending like they're smuggling, like bringing product into the city.
I remember this. We're in a Madagascar scene.
Basically, yeah. Loaded onto a boat though as you're being patted out. Akash, you do hear this as well.
Okay, I was gonna say, if I notice that Akash is not paying attention, I'll knock the crate over on the side or something.
Just
like, hey, Akash.
Hey, Melman.
Wait. Huh?
Sounds
He
like
kinda just-
the ram has a message for you.
And at that point, he'd pay attention and listen if it's playing on repeat.
yes. And as
Fuck.
and as you listen to this message, you think of a couple things. The tactics that he's referring to, as far as the issues within the basin, the Harefoot Basin, that you used, the tactics that you employed against Calridge McAllister. He was a leader of the Manitoba sort of like resistance there.
Yeah.
Very rednecky. And basically what you did is you knew that he was a very good military leader, but he also had a bit of a temper, and he loved his fiancée a lot. And you kidnapped Brea Quickhand had Brea. You didn't really do a lot of this yourself. It was more your tactics. But you had her kidnapped and forced him into attack that was done out of passion and destroyed his forces. So when he says, I have your Brea, whom do you think he may be referring to? And then you think of how would they have figured it out? And then you remember that you gave your real military ID to the peacekeeper that caught you on your way in when he saw through your disguised self to talk to Seraphim. And while that passed then because of your rankings, they must have ran some sort of check. And as those thoughts come to as you're smuggled into the city and eventually to Shade's End, you find Shade's End fine, pretty much the way you left it. Everything is safe. The Empire did not find out that area. But with that dread setting in on this evening, that's where we're going to end our session here. Welcome back to
That's a
Seawards
hell of a
Port.
place to end it. That's
Welcome
a
back
hell of
to
a place
reality.
to end it.
Yeah. A crazy good RP from everyone this session. I mean, holy shit, I barely had to do anything. That was awesome.
Prep work? What prep work?
Yeah, what's that?
But no, thank you all for a wonderful session. Anyone watching, thank you for joining us. Excited to see what happens on the next episode when we come back and see what happens, whether it's gathering allies or whatever in the fight for the freedom of Seawards Port. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
And cut.
Jack.
Mhm.
Sorry to put you out, but that was just the way that I interpreted how Gax got his information. Because he wouldn't have come otherwise.
No, dude, that's okay. And like,
Yeah.
in truth, you've like seen signs of it around, but no one has fully had this fucking conversation with you.
Yeah, no, like those reactions.
They
were
just said
completely,
something they said during the night of Blackfire, during this like conversation. You don't know what the fuck that is, but it sounds
Oh, that's
bad.
right. He's not from here. He doesn't go to this school.
Yeah, he got information by Nelsa that he was going to come into contact with this group called the
Kill the
Plumbers
Aboleth.
to kill the Aboleth, and that's what he was there to do. And then he was going to do that, and then it got a bit fucky, so he was like, okay, I'll stay a little bit longer to fix whatever's going on and,
Seawards Port.
Seawards Port, and then leave.
It's the rebellion's like a drug, man. That's how you start getting into it, guys.
Come to find out that he is now in like neck deep water with a rebellion group that he never wanted to interact with, right, on that level. And now he's just like, I don't want to be here. Because where I live, where I actually protect, right?
Mhm.
That's completely like
They're independent
disconnected
now.
from everything that's going on. He has no current stakes in this war,
Yeah.
right?
He does. He just doesn't know it yet because we haven't had the conversation about it.
No, even with the conversation, he still has nothing like. The only thing keeping him in that room is Nelsa.
No, this. Well,
she
yeah,
didn't even
that's the
say
other-
anything.
That's the other part of this, is that there's bigger stuff going on. Gods are dying. The Emperor Liston is doing black magic that requires human sacrifice.
Something like that.
There's something going down in Eastside Keep, which we have completely ignored until now.
We haven't ignored, we just don't get mail that often when we're under siege.
I also am like, I toss out plot lines. This is how I GM. I just toss out plot lines, see which ones you pick up. You're not going to get to everything. Just by nature of campaign. But yeah, also
I'm gonna go
throughout that
refill
whole,
my drink.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah. But like throughout that whole conversation, I love the amount of times that they reference saving Becca. Only one of you actually was there to save Becca, and that was fucking Gax. Everyone else was late.
Yeah, he was the
Not
one to do
by
that.
any fault of your own, but
he just saw someone who was in need, and he went out of his way to help that person.
yeah, it was the shadow band was the headquarters where they had you like stashed, so they were doing it, and you didn't have to go, but you did.
Which he's not talking about. He didn't want to say anything in front of Yonan.
No, I know. That's fair.
Because right now,
tensions are high.
He's very mad. He's very mad at Yonan.
Yeah.
He's kind of mad at Nelsa, but, they were also talking through the sending spell. So, you can't really...
There's not a lot of opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, so he can understand that. What he can't understand is why nobody told him anything.
Yep.
Thought you were filled in.
Thought you were debriefed. The moment Yonan exits the room. Last time I remember, I was the one to save Becca.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just picturing flashing over to Case and Major Rakash, because they're sleeping in a room that has like 2 twin beds, so they're in the same room. Just hearing this yelling at 7:45 in the morning, going like, they're figuring out their purpose. I remember when we were young. Should we go out there? No, I don't want to put myself in the middle of that.
Gax is just like, hey, can I join you guys? just sit here for a little bit. I don't want to be a part of that.
Oh, you want to become a skill guard to Vezbek?
No. Actually, I specifically don't want to go to Ezbek. But yeah, also Gax is thinking like, my whole thing is bar fights and monsters, right? Like,
this is a fucking rebellion. What the hell?
Yeah, I can't. Like, I can't fight a war.
Well, you see, the Emperor is a monster.
I
Maybe.
can't fight a war. Like, what am I doing here? Bro's like middle age.
Yeah. You and Agash are like the same, like equivalent of like as far as like how you've aged, like roughly.
I mean,
And Althadon is whole confusing, yeah, because there's
Althadon's actually like 1 year younger than Akash, but
his physical body is not.
yes.
Yeah, lucky.
Yes.
You only need to get turned into a mindless, barrel mimic by evil arch wizard, and then you too can get some extra years of.
If Dax is just like, I'm not gonna be able to keep up.
Yeah, I have on
Who do you think I
Alternum's
am?
bio his age as actual age 37, physical age 23, mental age 28.
Yeah, Dax is just like, even Nelsa is more physically fit than I am to fight a war.
He's getting old too.
Yeah, but she's younger than him in equivalence. You know, she's more in her prime, right?
She's 35.
How old did goblins live? 60?
It depends. Yeah, it's roughly 60. There's several different sources. Some of them have like only to 30. The main one that is referred now is like 60. Yeah.
Also, what source did you use for your race for Null?
I'm back.
Oh, me? It was a fan-made one.
Back
It was
to.
one. The
Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I just looked up Gax 5e trying to find the Knolls. That's not anything that you can find on the.
but
Been there. there.
the age maximum is 30.
Dang.
Yes. No, Knolls don't live long, man.
Mm-mm.
But that's like saying that max for humans is 70, even though some people live to 100.
It's 80 roughly in D&D is
That's
the average.
that's like average mortality would be that 30.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that
Because-
like average because of lifespan or average
no,
because of
That's
lifestyle?
lifespan. That's
live-
lifespan. They also don't live long because of.
Yeah, a wild Knoll's age of like what you can expect is like 8.
Yeah.
So their maximum is around 30. Like they can't really live that much longer because they're just
The scale of it too. Like
yeah,
if
they're
like if
fast growing
Yeah.
species.
yeah.
Yeah, like you might find a really old one that's 40 and like he's
He's like
bedridden.
110 basically. Like
Yeah.
effectively.
You find a 40-year-old Knoll, you found a shiny Pokemon. Like that's not.
You found a 40-year-old Knoll, you found a level 20 adventurer. You found
Yeah.
someone who could likely kick
Who-
your ass.
Who probably also needs a cane though,
Yeah.
but still can fight. But also is old as shit.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
Gax's life expectancy is probably like 20 something. Like
Especially the way you live your life.
Yeah. He probably has a good like 4 or 5 more years in him.
He's what, 16 now?
18.
18, yeah. Yeah.
He's 18? That explains so much.
Out of 30, so he's effectively
Yeah,
like
30.
50, like 45-ish.
Yeah.
He's effectively like 18. He's
What?
he has 18 years of living experience, but no, he is more mentally mature than a 18-year-old.
Well, the typical Null of his age would definitely be that.
Yes.
He is a fucking genius among Knolls.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, bar's real low, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, he's emotionally smart. Jack, look at Discord real quick.
Oh,
That's a
meow
cutie.
meow.
She's on
Oh.
He is planning his attack.
Now I know what's wrong with all of you guys. You've all been bitten. They've infected you.
We're nerds.
That's what's wrong with us?
No,
Yes.
I'm talking about the cat scratch.
There's a lot more than that, my friend.
Yeah, I was
let
gonna,
me go
how much
get the
time do you
list
have? But it sounds like Autumn's back. If we're down to get back into this.